My name is Sam Oler and I love real estate. Now, I found my passion for it at a pretty young age, so I was fortunate in that regard, but it took me a long time to figure out exactly what I wanted to do to actually pursue that passion. Now, looking back on it, realistically, it all started when I was a kid and I would build stuff with my dad. I still have stuff from when I was a toddler that I built while my dad was working in the garage, and he helped me just start to learn the mechanics of how tools work. And as I was growing up, we were always building things like swing sets, sheds, decks, just stuff along the lines of that. There was always some sort of project going on at our house. Now, when I really realized I loved working with my hands was in high school. I started taking all the extracurricular activities that were like wood shop, home improvement, small engines, stuff like that, that you were just constantly working with your hands and just learning important things like trades. Now, I wasn't just working with my hands while I was in school. I was doing it outside of school as well. I commonly found myself building different things out of concrete, like little candles or light fixtures. I was building a lot of different smaller projects like bookshelves, TV stands, and even cornhole boards. And while I was building those in my basement at the house that I grew up in, I found a TV show called Property Brothers. And when I watched that, I was immediately hooked. I watched all of the seasons religiously, and then I would turn them on repeat. Now, at the time, I was a big fan of the construction part of it, but it put being a realtor in the back of my mind. And about midway through high school is when my first actual interaction having a job within real estate happened. My brother was a contractor at the time, and he took me on to do some different projects for him, and a lot of those projects right off the bat included demo, painting, laying tile. So I was learning a lot of the different trades very quickly, and it made a really big impression on me as I was growing up at a really formative age. Now, him and I were always looking to start different companies, but I think this was the first time that it actually panned out. But I was quickly on a path to graduate high school and go to college, and I ended up moving to Toledo after a few short years of working with him. Now, real estate was kind of on halt during this time. I was doing a lot of work on cars, building small things here and there that we needed for when we got our first townhome, just stuff like that. But this time off of real estate ended up not really being a time off of real estate, because I ended up finding a podcast that would later turn into one of my favorites, and that was the Bigger Pockets podcast. At the time, they were having popular investors on sharing their stories, and the host was even building his portfolio, and it was just cool to see the different aspects of everyone investing. So once that seed was planted into my mind of owning real estate, I never stopped working towards it. And as I got midway through college, my program at the University of Toledo, which was electrical engineering, had the opportunity for their students to go and work as internships, and they were called co-ops. So I was working as an electrical engineer at a company in Toledo, and my main job there was doing automation. I loved doing it, but the problem was it was a lot of travel, and I'm not a huge travel head. I really like to stay where I'm at and just go out of town once or twice a year. I've always been a homebody, and I can't explain it, but it's just who I am. Now, while I was working at this automation company, I was able to save up enough money to buy my first home at the age of 21. And the cool thing about Toledo is it is one of the cheapest cities in the United States right now. So I was able to purchase my first house for only $47,000, and I still have that house today. Now it's serving me as a long-term rental, but when I was living there, I had roommates paying me a rent. And from month 2 of living there and on, I didn't have a mortgage payment, and I was actually making a little bit of money on top of it. So that just showed me what the actual power of real estate is, and I dove in and went full force from then on. Now, as I was finishing up getting my engineering degree at the university, I realized that I wasn't quite on the path that I wanted to be on, so I decided to take the plunge and get my real estate license. And I finished the real estate program right as I was graduating from college, so it was a pretty seamless transition. I immediately started working on a team, and my mentor taught me a lot of what I know today. So after I graduated, I was working part-time as an electrical engineer for the company that I was with throughout college, and I was super thankful for the opportunity they handed me, but I ended up getting laid off when the pandemic hit, which ended up being a blessing in disguise. I decided to go full-time into selling real estate and really focus on that, and it really paid off. My first year, I mainly worked with first-time homebuyers because I could relate to them the best, and it was working out really well. In my second year, I started working with people who were a little bit seasoned, maybe buying their second or third home, and have already gone through multiple transactions. And those 2 years alone really gave me a huge boost in my knowledge just with the relation to real estate. And now, during this time, I was still buying investment properties, but I hadn't bought my first flip yet. Now, as year 3 as a realtor approached, I moved back to Cleveland because I grew up here and all my family was here and I was starting to miss them, and it was just more convenient for me to be around them. As soon as I got back here, things really took off. We started doing a lot more investment properties, we were doing more rentals, and I was helping a ton of people buy and sell homes. Now, I am where I am today, and I couldn't have done it without anyone who was helping me, so I am extremely thankful for that. But I hope this gives you a pretty good insight of how I got to where I am today. Now, as far as my goals for the future, I do not plan on stopping this anytime soon. I am still absolutely in love with real estate and I am obsessed with it. I've had so many great experiences, whether it be construction, investing, or home sales. I absolutely love the thrill that I get when I help someone buy their first home, and just seeing the excitement that they have keeps me going. But it also makes a huge difference to me when I see the returns that they get, especially the investors that I work with, because making a proper investment can really set up your future, and it is such a great thing if you do it right. Now, helping you reach your goals is my job, so definitely reach out to me. I am happy to discuss, and we'll hopefully be able to fast track you to get you where you want to be. You can find all my contact information down in the description. And also down there is all of my social media, so if you do find yourself about to leave the page and going to check that out, definitely click that like button and subscribe before you go, because it's going to keep you up to date with everything that I am up to. But with all that being said, I'm going to leave the video there. I'll catch you in the next one.